Hello, my name is Resilan, and welcome to Satisfactory. I'm going to take you through some additional changes that we have made here in our facility. Since the last episode, you can now see that we have an awesome sink sitting here. It is sitting here strictly for the purpose of producing, taking leftover or extra resources and things that we have and running them into this sink. Once we tore everything down, put all the resources in a box. We built new facilities, new components, and then once we finished with that, we took all of the leftovers and stuff that we had sitting in boxes that weren't in our storage facility, and we just piled them up into boxes here and fed those boxes into this resource sink. Might as well get something out of them, and we can always use tickets. We have an insatiable need for tickets. You can see here that on the progress towards steel production, we have produced the 150 rotors now. We do have the rotors and are in here. We're just lacking the modular frames, and so that's what I'm going to go through here now with the facility. We've done a little bit of an expansion here on our facility here. Oh, and there's rain showing up in game, and that is very cool. This is the first time I've seen rain, and they have done a really good job with this. So I have to say that the rain on the platform, it looks wet. It looks like what you would expect to see on a metal platform like this. It does seem to be pretty much raining out of a clear sky. It's not totally clear. There are some clouds, but if you look up, there's still a little bit of blue sky. I still say it looks really good. While they could do a little bit of work on the sky effect for this, the actual wet looking surfaces are phenomenal. Okay, enough about that. So I have expanded my facility here, and I have reinforced plates now coming into this facility, and I am automatically producing reinforced plates. I am automatically producing rotors. Now I don't have modular frames built yet, but we do have the reinforced plates, and I'm going to take you through the facilities that produce those two things. Now I don't have roofs on everything yet. This is still the basic building process of getting a starter factory up. So we're going to start over here. We are taking an iron node from here. We're routing it behind that building over there and bringing it over here into this building. Now, one of the things that I find about my factories is I like to spread things out. If I'm going to do a modular build, I don't want the buildings too close together. I like to leave room to build things, build roads, build networks. I'm going to need to add things. I will need a resource sink in here at some point in time. Just whatever I need. I like to keep some space between my factories. So going into this particular factory, and I'll tell you what, since there's no roof on this, let's enable fly mode so we can see it from above. Make it a little easier for us to view it. I'm not using the fly mode for the gameplay, but for the video recording, it's certainly useful. So I'm bringing in iron ore. Now I have overclocked the iron node, and I am bringing in 111.5, I believe, is the amount of iron ore that is bringing in. And I am also bringing in copper ore. I am bringing in 60 copper ore a minute. This copper ore is feeding into, I've got iron ore feeding in here. I've got copper ore feeding in here. From the copper, I'm producing copper ingots and wire. The copper wire, I'm feeding and then I'm taking these iron plates, feeding these via a manifold system into all of these constructors. The constructors I'm getting iron plates and wire, and from here I'm then producing reinforced plates. And as the data as the resources come in here, the reinforced plates come out and then are routed down that long conveyor belt over to my storage facility. So that's the reinforced plate node. I am using the stitched iron recipe. So this is using the stitched iron plate, which requires iron plates and wire, and produces 4.5 a minute. This is a more efficient resource. It's probably not the best iron plate, but it's what I have right now, and it's better than the kind of the stock blueprint. So I'm using it since I happened to pick that up. Next, we'll move over here, just so that we come over here and see this. If we come in here behind this, you can see that I'm bringing the iron from over there, routing it from over there. And I've went over here for my copper and built a platform out here. I built a little walkway over to this node here, and I'm pulling iron ore or copper ore, I mean, out of this node here, closer to the coast, bringing it in here, putting it up onto this platform, and sending it across to where I need it to build my items. So copper is being sent a pretty long ways in order to make those reinforced plates. Now over here, I've got the iron nodes that are coming in here. I've got iron here. I've got copper here. I'm routing things in here. I've got a building right here also. This is my next building that we're going to look at. And from here, I've got an iron node coming here. Then this iron node, if we look here, this one is producing 112.5 a minute. And this one over here for the reinforced plates, I think is 90 iron ore per minute that's being fed onto that particular belt. So Mark II belt going around there. That's a Mark II belt as well that's going into this facility. So this is where I'm producing rotors. So I am bringing in the iron ore, and with a manifold system here, I am distributing this into a series of smelters that are producing iron ingots. So it comes into here, I'm running 4 smelters. These smelters are running at 93.765% efficiency, or clock speed. Yeah, let's say that. 93.765% clock speed. They are running at 100% efficiency. And what I'm doing is I'm feeding the results of this into all of these constructors, and these constructors are making iron rods. These all of them down through here. Everything here is producing iron rods from that. So the iron rods are then taken out of this facility here and routed to the upstairs. So if we go look at the next floor and what we have here, I can come into floor number 2, and floor number 2 is taking iron rods in, running them down this manifest down through here, this manifold, and from the manifold I am producing screws. All of this is producing screws. And so and then the leftover iron bars are being sent out and up to the 3rd floor. Along the way, I have 250 screws per minute that are being produced off of this line and being sent up to the 3rd floor on 3 separate belts. Since I can only carry 120 at a time on a belt, and I need 250, that requires 3 belts. So if I come up here to the 3rd floor, the 3rd floor is 3 assemblers. The 3 assemblers are taking iron rods and screws, and I have 2 of them running here at 100%, and then this one at 50%. So I've got 250% in what they're producing, and they are producing rotors, sending out rotors. So I've got 10 rotors per minute that are coming out of this line and being sent down this conveyor belt back over here to my storage facility in order to produce the next components that I need. So at this point in time, I've got 2 of the 3 items necessary for progressing the milestones being produced in an automated fashion. The final item that I need is to be able to produce the modular frames, and that will be what we work on next. The next episode will be all about automating the production of modular frames, or how I went about doing that, I should say, and then unlocking basic steel production. So once we have the modular frames automated, we will then want to unlock basic steel production, and then we will see what the next step is going to be. Just to give you an idea of where we're at on our power situation, with these facilities in place and running, you can see that we are using 320 of our 600 megawatts, but our max consumption is already up to 523.5 megawatts out of a production of 600. So if everything was running at if I was to pull a bunch of resources out of the box and everything kicks on and start running, we are nearing the end of our available power, and that's with 1 set of resources that are out there. So our next step is going to have to be pulling in some more coal and expanding our coal power plant. So the next expansion for the coal power plant is to go from taking 8 nodes producing 600 to having 16 producing 1200 megawatts. So we want 16 generators producing that. That'll be part of what we work on next, is that building the modular frames, expanding the power plant. We have to do both things in order to really to be able to build the modular frames. We need to do both. We can get away with it at the moment only because we do have the overflow of the biofuel burners, and also we're not consuming, or we're not running everything at the moment. We don't have resource sinks hooked up on all of our lines, so we're not using all of the, once the boxes are full, the lines shut down until I pull those resources out. So that's where we're at. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.